Chapter 5 is very similar to Chapter 4, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but similar to Chapter 4, it goes through and it defines enhancement. So again, it looks at what the research has already told us about enhancement, and it talks about the idea of adding value and what that means to add value in learning. It talks about adding supports and scaffolds and how technology can do that. And it also talks about looking for ways to use technology to meet the learning goals, but making sure that it's doing something to add value and in ways that we couldn't do with traditional tools. And then it goes into showing, once again, some strategies, some instructional strategies to help support software and technology use to add value. And then it goes into some examples of software that does have enhancement built into it. And again, encouraging you to look for software that has good pedagogy built into it. And then finally, it goes into the same case studies that you saw in Chapter 4, but looking at it from the enhancement level. So just like in Chapter 4, cover up the answers and see if you can take a good educated stab at what the answer is or should be. You may not be perfect in the answers. You may say yes and the answer says somewhat, or you may say no and the answer says somewhat. That's totally fine. You just want to end up in a certain range. And in general, the ranges are in kind of a similar place. So the teacher next to you may end up with a range of a 7 on a rubric when they're evaluating a lesson, and you might end up with an 8 or a 5, but you're not at an 18 and they're at a 7. So that's perfectly fine. It's not an exact science. It's just an informed science. So